Alrighty. We're live, man. We are live.
Well, we might be live, but I'm still, I'm not in the show, man. You got to put me in the show.
No, I got the overlay going.
You got the overlay going.
Yeah, I'm having a little fun. I'm messing with buttons.
I see that.
There you go.
There you go. Now we're actually live.
Yeah, well, I wanted people to, see the fun graphic and me figuring out the software. So,
what's up, Clark? How are you this Monday, fabulous January 8th day?
Doing great.
The month.
Oh, good, brother. How you feeling?
Hey. Oh, how am I doing? Have you heard of this thing called Bitcoin? Anyways, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. I am feeling fantastically. Things in my life are going good. The last 2.5 years of my life have been well used, apparently. And again, I'm here to talk about content that sells. So I'm excited. You're excited. Let's talk.
So let's do it. So, what happened with Bitcoin?
So, all right,
you got to give me a little bit of
look while everybody's coming in. Okay, while everybody's coming in.
This is the show. This is a little bit different. People want to know what's up. So,
Bitcoin has been the redheaded stepchild of the traditional financial world for 15 years. 15 years, we've been having the likes of Jamie Dimon and Larry Fink and these people that you think are the smartest human beings in the world when it comes to finances tell you that Bitcoin is rat poison, it's the devil. All the while, they've been building these Bitcoin teams and they've been investing in this product that they've been telling you do not invest in, right? For 7 years now. And we knew this in our community. And so little by little, we kept hearing the noise. And finally, as of probably on Wednesday, they're going to announce that they're going to allow 11 Bitcoin ETFs in the US. Okay. I want everybody just step back. Think about that. They're going to allow the 11 biggest asset managers in the world who have over $40 trillion of assets. They're going to allow them to have Bitcoin ETFs after for the last 7 years, they told you it was internet magic money. Now they're telling you it's real money. Oh, and by the way, you should buy it from us. I just really want everybody to think about that for a second. They told you what you wanted. They told you what they wanted you to understand so they could fill their bags. And that's what they've been doing because on the blockchain, you can see it. It's transparent. We can see it all. And then now, so don't believe what they say.
I'm stunned.
Do your research.
I'm stunned that they might have lied about that.
Right?
I can't believe it.
I can't believe they would do that.
All right. Well, let's pivot then to talking about the stuff that we tell the truth here.
Dude, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Know your customer, right? Know your customer.
Yeah. Hey, well, they want to get ahead of the game.
Jamie Dimon knew their customer. They knew they had to tell them a certain story to get them to take action in a certain way. And it works, right? It's the same thing. The same thing we talk about with content that sells. You have to understand your audience and you can send them the message that's going to make them take action the way you want. That's literally what we're talking about.
Well, let me give people a quick intro for those that hopefully I think a few people hopped in by now. Is we're going to be doing the Digital Recruiter Show all throughout this year. So we're doing it this Monday, this Friday. We're doing Monday, Friday for the next couple of weeks. And then we'll be doing Tuesday through Thursday for about an hour for a while. What we've realized, like the LinkedIn Lives, that's the best way to get some of this information, what we're talking about behind the scenes, what we're talking about in the mastermind, right? We have these courses that came out, right? How to get great clients, how to write content that sells. And I think people really resonated with it. And it's just fun to talk out loud, have this kind of live. People can watch, they can comment, ask questions. And we just want to engage with you. We want to kind of talk and go back and forth on what we're seeing works because there's a lot of snake oil out there and it's hard to hide up here. And we love doing this. We love talking about this stuff. We can do it in our sleep. And we might, for all I know, do it in our sleep. So we're just going to have fun with this. It's going to be a little bit more. We'll have a couple talking points for each show, but really want to get your engagement, questions, all that good stuff, and really make it for you. So with that said.
Well, we do have a couple comments. Ross is here. Brittany's here. What's up, Adam, Benjamin? Yes, I do want to talk Bitcoin. Yes, Clark wants to talk about recruiting. We'll segue into both, Ben. We'll segue into both. We got it, baby. Yeah. We can walk and chew.
Well, that's some fun. But all right, we're talking about, so we're seeing a lot of content
Yep.
this month, Kevin. People are posting. It's the new year, right? They've hired someone, or they're going to start writing themselves, or they got some sort of AI tool to write them a bunch of great content. They're going to kill it. They're going to get all these inbound leads. They're going to be part of the content machine that they keep hearing about.
Yep.
And maybe crickets. Maybe it's
Could be.
working. Maybe they're getting likes,
Could be.
but no leads. How do I know if I'm getting leads? How do I know if it's working?
Clark, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you're out there, you're looking at content, and we're talking to some of the clients we work with, and they're trying to figure it out. What do you see as some of the mistakes? What are some of the mistakes people are making when they think they're writing content that sells, and they're not getting DMs, they're not getting the results? What are some of the mistakes, signals that that could tell them that they're not doing the right thing?
Number one, they give up after a couple posts. That's the number one mistake. Number two is to not, if you don't know why it's working, how it's working, how to know if it's working, what the signals are, you got to go ask for help. I mean, that was the first thing I did when I wanted to start, in the online world 5 years ago. I joined a mastermind program, and I'm not sitting here telling you to go join one, but that's the first thing I did. And I was like, I got to know, what are people doing that are having success? I got to go learn from them. Why be on an island? Why reinvent the wheel? If
Yep.
it's working for some people, I got to go learn from the people it's working for. Like, that's as simple as that. And it doesn't mean that you're not a great recruiter, you're not great at sales, but writing content is a whole different thing. Writing content on LinkedIn that sells an inbound lead is a whole other thing there
Yep.
piece. And then doing it for the agency recruiting industry is way different than any other industry.
That's right.
So you have all these roadblocks, and you understandably don't have the time to do all the things and become an expert at all the things, right? That's why I have you. That's why I have Christina. That's why I have Ross and Keely. Like, I can't do all the things that digital recruiter needs by myself. And that's how most people operate and are. And so I think just knowing that it's okay not to know.
Yeah.
Right. And ask for help. Like, those are two things: giving up and not knowing to ask for help.
Yeah. One of the, especially from the recruitment side of things, the second cup, one of the initial things that I think we always generally find to be a bugaboo is speaking directly to that hiring manager, speaking to those pain points, refusing to only talk about yourself, what it is you do, and that what makes you special. I see so many posts out there, and trust me, I know that we all think that we're special because we are the center of our universe. The problem is, I promise you, the way that you hastily get candidates is the exact same way that Clark does too. Right? Like, he also wants to get candidates as fast as possible. So by you telling, hiring managers that you get them faster than anybody else, you're commoditizing yourself. By telling them that you have better customer service than anybody else, everybody else says the same thing. So if you're saying the same things that anybody else is saying, then you are making yourself a commodity. The way that you uncommoditize yourself is you research your customer and learn about them, because every one of them has different pain points that you can talk about, where you don't have to talk about yourself and it's not about you. And then also, I'll say this.
Yeah.
When you go somewhere and you're about to buy something, how often are you buying something on the specs of it? How often are you buying it based on how it's going to make your life a little easier, a little better? Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, you said a lot of very important things there. So let's start with the first thing, the mistakes. I do think a lot of people do sales and content in a vacuum, right? Without studying the market, the competition, right? You say, put yourself in your prospect's shoes. Well, what does that mean? Right? What questions am I asking? And you said a few important ones, but if we really break that down, because it's so fundamental.
Can we right there? I'm sorry, that's such an important point. The questions, because we can get tactical.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What are the questions to ask about what are the ways that I am commoditizing myself, and what questions should I be asking to make sure I'm not doing that?
Perfect. So one great question I always think about before I'm going to write: what is the final transformation I want my reader to achieve? right? It's not about you. So when you're writing and you're thinking about that person, what is that transformation that you want them to achieve? You should be thinking about that. What are the steps required to get to that transformation? Can you reverse engineer that in a way that's simplistic enough and bite-sized, so they're like, right? So that you can just kind of feed them onto that transformation. How can you help them move through each step of the transformation? How are you going to make them feel like it's you that's the one that's moving them? Because if the more that you make them feel like it's you, the more they're going to want to reach out and DM you, because you are that helper, right? And then you know, what do they see as their biggest problem preventing them from achieving their transformation? And how does that make them feel? Because if you can speak to those feelings, that's when you get that message where they say, it feels like you're talking to me, Kevin.
Well, that's what I love this post. I brought it up on the screen. I love this that you wrote. I think it was last week or 2 weeks.
Yes.
About last week. And, you know, because I've seen the shift even in your content, right? As you kind of learn the digital recruiter, and you really got to work with our clients hands-on, all these different recruiters at different stages of their business, right? And whether they're closing in on $1 million or past $1 million, or they're trying to get to that $250,000 or $500,000 mark, right? And they're just learning these concepts. It's a lot of work on the front end, but just you keep working, right? You talk about like the psychology and getting into your prospect's mind. And I love this headline, right? I don't mind going the wrong way to find a new path. I never like going the same way home. You know, where are we going? And to me, like, just to give an example to the listeners out there, this, I always call agency recruiting, and that's who Kevin's talking to now, right? Agency recruiters. For me, agency recruiting is the land of misfits, right? Like career misfits. And you kind of you fall into it, right? I've had the Digital Recruiter podcast. I think you're the only person that said you intentionally got into recruiting. And even then, right, you did a bunch of things before you got into recruiting.
Facts.
This resonates with all of us, right?
Facts.
I mean, I'm sure you guys comment, like, let me know if I'm wrong or right. I think this resonates with every agency recruiter, right? It's like in the path of our career, like, how did we end up here? Like, the margins are amazing. It's an absolute grind. It's worth it. It's not worth it. Like, there's so much nuance, right? And you have to be like, that's the master communication. That's why I love this post. Like, it shows that you really know your, you know, you know the market, kind of what they're going through. And part of that is because you've been there and you've been in their shoes, right? And so it's like, what are ways that, as you're a recruiter in your different verticals, say healthcare, accounting, and finance, like, really think about what those people are going through. Like public accounting right now is their busy season. Like, shoot, I don't even know if I would post to them right now. They might not be on LinkedIn until May. But that's a whole other topic. But like, what are they going through, right? That busyness, like they're feeling the pain of maybe not getting the hiring right in Q3, Q4, right? All that. So maybe you're posting content to get them to be great clients over the summer. So I'll stop. But
No. Do not stop. What do they think and feel?
Yeah.
What do they hear? Right? Like, what do they see?
Yeah.
What do they say and do when they have these thoughts? The more and more you think about what they think and feel, what they hear, what they see, what do they say and do, what's the pain they have, the more that you will speak. You won't even notice it. But when you write content, you will be speaking directly to their feelings, and they will feel like you understand them, because you will literally be saying what they hear, what they see, what they feel. That's the power of storytelling. That's how you write content that sells.
Well, it's also that emotional driver is what makes you make the decision, right? Like, I'll give you a perfect example. So we started taking my 7-month-old son to the Gymboree, right? The little kids class last Tuesday. It was adorable. Yeah, it was amazing, right? He'd been excited just to see him interacting with other babies and, like, you know, his age, a little bit older. He's really the youngest one in there. And so all the other ones were crawling or walking, and he's like a fidget spinner, right? He can kind of go this way, he could go around, or he could like Navy SEAL and roll, like the little Mission Impossible. Right. But like, that's kind of where he's at. He's looking around like, what the heck? Like, I got to figure out this whole crawling thing. But they got the mats, right? The incline, the everything else. And my wife had sent me on Amazon, right? Like, you know, multiple times a day this happens, but an Amazon link, right? And it was like this like play set, right? And it's not cheap, right? It's in like the $150 range or whatever. And I'm like, all right, do I like need to get that right now? Okay, he just used the Gymboree. But then we go again Saturday morning, right? And then you start to see him and like he's getting there. There's double the kids this amount of time, and they're all crawling or walking. And he's the only one that's done. You could see he's like a little frustrated and all that stuff. So like me emotionally, as a parent, as a father, I was like, I got to get this thing at home. We're going to practice. We're going to get him crawling. We're going to get him to join. Like, so emotionally, I bought that thing in the parking lot on the way home.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, 2-day shipping. Let's go. Let's get this thing. Like, emotionally, I was sold. Like, I was thinking about it logically during the work week, but then I saw him and I was like, well, all right, little buddy, we're going to get this thing. We're going to practice. You're going to be crawling in no time. Like, if that's what you want to do. Right. And the whole thing, like, that's what I mean. Like, that's what we mean.
People buy for emotional and not logical reasons and then rationalize it later.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. And that's why I'm on this LinkedIn Live today. Now, because now I got to get out there. I got to pay for this $150 playground set. No.
But to your point, right? That's the old way, and I talked about this on a post recently. The old way that we used to teach this stuff is through demographics. And what you're talking about through anecdote and everything, we're talking about psychographics, right? So it's by understanding that a person's a woman or a man or they're 26 or like it doesn't give you the feeling of how, but by understanding that they're a parent, that when they go to Gymboree and they see other kids that are doing something that their kid can't, that they would be the one to take ownership over that and want to, right? So like speaking to, like, you can already feel it.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like the challenge is, the challenge is finding what those demographic characteristics are, but then, putting them into a story. Let me put my light back on. That's a little bit better. That can be told. So again, it actually speaks to somebody, what they see day to day, what they feel, what their life is like. Yeah. What's up?
I'm gonna get some of these questions on the screen for people so they can see.
But so going back to the question, so I'll segue that. In terms of those questions, what do they think? What do they feel? What do they see? What do they do? What do they hear? What does that look like? What type of offers are these people exposed to on a daily basis? What problems do they encounter on a daily basis? When your hiring manager is having that person that they can't fill that seat to, what are their friends and family saying to them when they discuss what's happening at work? Who actually influences them, right? Like, who influences them? Is it their wife at home? Is it their husband? Is it their friends? Is it their family? Like, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, is it their, like, what's the, and then that's like kind of the emotional, but what's also the business side, right? Like, that's what we talk about qualifying job orders. It's what's the business case for this role being filled, right? So if you're writing content, it's, what is their job on the line? If they're in charge of hiring, if they're dealing with 10 crappy other agencies, if like they're all this, like they're frustrated because they have to deal with this problem. It's like this albatross, but they can't actually do their actual job, which is where they get measured. Maybe that's how they get bonus. Did they just get their bonus? How did their year-end review just go? Did they spend too much time having a crappy hiring solution so it didn't go as well as they want to? Right. And so like it might be a little tricky to write that post, right? But it's like, hey, you recap 2023. Did it go the way you want? Did it not? How did you? I think there's a tactful way to do it. I'm just saying, just being like, hey, you failed your review, like use us. I guess I'm kind of, I'm working through the way to articulate it. But you kind of start there, right? 100%. You start there. You start as like, was last year a failure for my client? Right? To the recruiter, do we really think about that? right? We're so busy trying to get the rec, trying to get the agreement, but putting themselves in their shoe, did they win or lose last year?
So let's talk about that a little bit, okay? So you're a recruiter, you're running a desk, okay? When that's happening, what do you feel? You feel inadequate. Or what does that hiring manager feel? They feel inadequate, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not able to do their job. What are they thinking? They're thinking they're thinking I see all my colleagues being able to hire these roles and their teams are thriving and I'm not. What am I doing wrong? What do they see? They see that they have all these candidates in front of them, but they can't discern. They can't figure out who's the person they need. They've been sent 18 candidates and haven't made a decision, right?
Yeah.
What do they say? What are they saying to their hiring manager? What are they saying to their boss? I'm doing the best I can with what I got. I'm having to wear 10 different hats right now.
But these agencies don't know what we're looking for. They're just sending me a bunch of people. It's a waste of time. It's all this, right? Like they're annoying. Like it's not great. Or like I like them, but they can't find anyone good for this. Well, I'm sure we've all heard that in some sense of, way of form if you've been at this for any length of time. But what are they really saying? Well, that recruiting agency didn't ask me the right questions ahead of time. They didn't in the initial intake. They didn't qualify me properly as a client. Now, they're not articulating that, but they're subconsciously, that's what they're saying. So how can you address that in content, right? It's like, before we sign any contract, I want to know exactly like, how did you get to this point? What makes the most sense, right? I don't want to waste your time going forward. And if things have been working out, we're going to change that today. This call is going to give you you're going to think about hiring differently today. You're going to realize things that are available to you and an option that you might not have before. Start there. How can you write about that? Write about giving them a different experience of what they're current feeling or experiencing. Because it always goes back to, what do we say? The best clients that you're going to get have almost always worked with agencies before. So how do you stand out? How do you make it worthwhile? You start to do that enough times, that's when you start to get those messages in the inbox. And as we said on our last LinkedIn Live, they will rarely tell you in the message that it was your post that got them to reach back out. So remember that, right? I know we only have about 7 minutes and we're going to do more of these and we're going to keep expanding on all these subjects, but those are the signals, right? And I know we're throwing a lot out there, but then those become the signals of like, was that my post? Was that the content? Like, yes, it was.
And there's two things to that we'll wrap this up really well and great segue. And you sent me a Twitter post yesterday about this gentleman wrote, which is talking about how the buyer's journey today is not linear at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes to that and that's true, right? Nobody is going from one post to your next post to your next post to your next post and following any kind of buyer journey that's linear. They're saying this post on Monday, this post on Wednesday, this post on the following Wednesday, and then and that's why it takes 27 touch points instead of the 7, because they're forgetting what you said before. So it becomes like this kind of story that's told over time of them seeing top of funnel. Okay, I'm aware I have it. Oh, okay, they solved it. Oh, this is how they solved it with this person. That's kind of like me. But it takes a lot of those touch points now for them to see that.
Well, we talk about flywheels in, say, prospecting, right? You get some automation going or connection, right? You got to send 20, 30 connections a day. You get that flywheel running. But each buyer's journey is almost in its own flywheel, right? They meet you, they see a couple posts, they forget about you, maybe they come back. Maybe as that's happening, you're updating your profile. You keep posting. You're updating your featured section with posts that are more relevant. So the next time they go on your profile, they're like, oh shoot, like, yeah, I do need to reach out to Kevin and work with him and figure it out. So you control the process, you keep going, but you get enough prospects in their own flywheel in terms of how they're partnering with you. You keep at it. That's how you build up the volume. And they said the different stories are going to hit with different people, right? So everyone's like, oh, what should I post? Well, you could do personal stuff, but mix in with some thought leadership, mix in with some practical stuff, mix in with some business stories and some scenarios and some insights. Like there is so much to do. It's infinite, right? And as you start practicing this, we always say do voice memos. Like Kevin and I mean, Kevin's a big writer. I'm much more I'm a talker, then I write. And so everyone has their own thing, right? You can do voice memo, you can write notes in, your phone app or whatever,
Yep.
right? Just like write down the different things, brainstorm like an evergreen brainstorming kind of with yourself about your market. That's where it's going to spur a lot of these ideas, right? But just start thinking about it this way, because this is what matters. And getting here is where truly the gold is, right?
Yep.
The cold or the crypto or what. I'm just kidding, but also not kidding.
No,
Like
seriously.
it's really where the golden, because then they're going to be bought into you as
Yeah.
a different experience, and they might not be a client that day, but when they're ready, and if you keep at it, you're top of mind, and like that's what matters.
And that's because, and this is a good segue to the end of this, and it's kind of the encapsulation of what we discussed today in terms of knowing your audience. They are the hero. Okay, so we talk storytelling, guys, and I talk storytelling all day. Hero and the guide. They are the hero. You are the guide. You're the guide to come up with a plan that will lead them to success because they have a problem that they cannot find success. How does this work? Sales funnels. That's it. Top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. That's why we talk about that buyer's journey not being linear. You have to make them aware they have a problem. Most people aren't even aware they have a problem. So you have to discuss that problem. That's why we talk about how they think, they feel, they do, what do they see. Then you have to show them how. You have to give them a glimpse into how you actually solve those things. So that's where like the practical, useful content that you see Clark putting out, he gives them the how all freaking day. So that's why his inbox is lit up, because people are like, oh, okay, I can see it. And then what's the third piece is a little bit of social proof, right? Give a couple of the wins. Don't make it so self-aggrandizing that it's me, me, me. Make it about them, but about you. You can do both. And then the more that you do that to guide them, you are not telling them, you are not doing it for them. You are just simply facilitating and guiding it for them. The more they will see you as the person they need to guide them there.
As the go-to, as the
go-to.
consultant, not the commoditized agency.
Right.
And it's just like, no, I got my agency. When I'm ready again, I'm working with Kevin. Right? I'm working with Clark. Like that's who I'm working with. That's the feeling you want to get to. Right?
You'll be
Don't worry about the timing. The timing is the timing, but work on capturing that feeling. And like that's the gold.
And so to that point, and why I know, and I'm going to say this on the end of this call, and I'll probably say it a lot, but why I know that the course that you'll see on my page and on Clark's how to write content that sells is one of the best writing courses out there, is because we teach the foundational pieces of understanding how to write. We don't just give you tactics. We don't just give you templates. We actually want to teach you the psychology. There's a ton of psychology that comes into it. The influence part, right? The understanding your buyer part, the psychographics part. How do they think? How do they feel? This is what's going to allow you to sell anything, anything, anything. It's a skill that you will have from now until the last days, and you won't need AI. In fact, you can use AI so much better when you understand how to write this way.
Ooh, I feel like I know we're talking about Friday.
What are we talking about?
Oh, I don't know. I think the AI, right? I think that's a good, and we can even test out some stuff live with some of the AI, right? We'll just copy and paste some things versus actually maybe writing out some stuff. I don't know. We could do that. That'd be kind of fun, actually.
That actually would be
On
kind of
Friday.
fun.
Yeah,
I'm down. I'd be down for that.
I'm writing that down. Yeah.
Yeah.
AI post versus us writing. All right.
That's right,
We got 4
Diane.
days to practice.
No, and Diane said something totally right. Don't worry about timing. Work on capturing the feeling. That's right. Because how many times, Diane, have you been
Well,
in a
she's
call?
saying I said that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
said
No,
that.
then you got it. Because
So
you've been on so many calls
Yeah.
where they didn't want it then, but you knew that they were gonna look at your content, and you knew down the road they were gonna see what
Or I knew they were going to unfollow me, and I'm okay with that too.
That's right.
Because
Oh,
I'm here to
absolutely.
curate my tribe. I want
Absolutely.
digital recruiter tribe. I want people that see things the same way, that want to get to the same destination I do. We're all going to get there on our own path, but like that's who I want to link arms with.
Yes.
Right. And it's okay if you don't like me or my style. I am completely at peace with that. Right. And that's
perfect.
Like,
because it saves you time and energy.
Saves you time, energy, and that's a whole other topic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Ben's unfollowing. All right.
Well, you're going to save me a lot of time and energy, Ben.
Yeah. Ben's going in for crypto.
I like Ben.
Yeah. No,
no,
I know. We love Ben. Ben's great.
Nah, this has been great.
It's
I
been fun, man.
appreciate y'all. Are we about to wrap
Oh,
this
we
up?
hit time. Yeah, we're gonna hit on a call, but these are gonna be half an hour for the next
Yeah.
couple weeks. Then we're gonna be doing an hour. So we're just building some momentum. So stay tuned. We're gonna do some fun things, some workshops, some giveaways, some all this good stuff on here. We're gonna be consistently. If you got ideas for things that you want us to talk about, throw them in the comment section or message us. We always love hearing from you. As Kevin mentioned, we got the course. I think I put the link in the comments for the sales and content courses that we built out.
Yeah,
We put a lot of love into
you're
those.
curious about, if you like some of the stuff you hear today, but you're gun shy on the course, happy to give you a little preview, happy to give you a little bit more. Guarantee it's the best foundational content course that I've seen in a long time. So
well, you put a lot of work into it, helping me out and all that, and so did Ross. So we got that. We got the cohort. The next digital recruiter cohort's going January 29th.
Yep.
So we got 15 slots total from that. I think a few have already been taken. I'm going to email that out tonight to the newsletter on how to get more information there to sign up. Shoot me a message, sign up for the newsletter. It's on my featured page. If you haven't done so already, that email goes out at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Stay tuned we're going to do this again at 1:30 Eastern on Friday.
Yep.
We'll create like another LinkedIn event for those that tuned in. Thank you. Appreciate you. And this is so fun. I can't wait to do more of these going forward. So
appreciate everybody. Ben,
a pleasure, brother.
Adam, Diane, Hideshita.
Appreciate you. Bradley, Ross, everyone. Brittany, love it.
Yep.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, dude. See you in a bit.
Brother.